Afternoon, everybody. I'm Professor Yang. Now I will use the half an hour to introduce you the aerospace engineering program offered by students from Hong Kong. Okay, CDU. So now, so first, why do we need to offer the aerospace engineering? Because aerospace engineering actually is a very important area, new engineering programs offered by us. The first reason is because the renewed interest and also because of rapid change due to the advancement in quite a few important fields, including electrical aircraft flying technologies, advanced digital communications, smart inspections, machine learning, AI, autonomous flight, unmanned vehicles, supersonic flight technologies. Because this change in these new technologies that give us the interest, the surge of interest to offer the aerospace engineering programs to the students in Hong Kong. So also because there's a strong demand for aerospace engineering students in different industries in Hong Kong. That includes aviation and air transportation. Hong Kong as the aviation hub, definitely there's strong demands for human powers in aviation and air transportation. And also it includes electrical vehicles, aircrafts, automation robots, smart manufacturing, digital communication technologies, artificial intelligence, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is the technologies that will need the people from aerospace engineering. So according to these documents, released by Hong Kong government, so the launch of this aerospace engineering program also meets the priority and growth areas in Hong Kong. Now, so the first question we're asked is, do we have any jobs for the aerospace graduates? The answer is yes, we do have quite a lot of, as I said, quite a jobs opportunities for students graduate from this aerospace engineering program. Now, in terms of market, we can have, and 4-level markets. We have a local market, meaning that the students can easily find jobs in Hong Kong. Okay, so if people want to find jobs in Hong Kong, okay, so this is different typical industries that can find jobs, including technical services industries, consultants, education, commerce, business, and finance. Okay, so I should emphasize that the students graduating from aerospace engineering can also find jobs in financial engineering. Okay, I will tell you why later on. Okay, aside from Hong Kong, you can also find jobs in the regional market, like in Greater Bay Area, in national market, in mainland China, also international market. Okay, so including China, UK, Europe, and even US. Okay, so this is as you can see here, this is a cartoon showing us the connections between Hong Kong, the Greater Area, and the outside world. In the next 5 or 10 years, going to be quite a few new airports being constructed. Okay, just in Greater Bay Area. If we just count all these airports together, definitely can see that you can have a lot of the flow of travelers and goods from the rest of the world to Hong Kong and to mainland China. That's why there's a strong demands for manpowers in aerospace engineering in the next 5 to 10 years. So let's look at some data. Okay, now indeed, CTU is not the first university that offers aerospace engineering program. HKUST was the first one. Now this data from HKUST. According to HKUST, actually in 2020, the students graduating from aerospace engineering can easily find jobs. Now 77% find jobs in engineering industries. 15% can easily find jobs in commerce and business, 6% in education, and 2% in government-related organizations. Okay, that's the data from UST. And last year, I think it's last year, yes, PolyU also offered aeronautic and aviation engineering programs. Okay, so according to data, actually, we know what happened last year. Right? Last year, there was there's a pandemic. So in general, there's a salary cut in different industries, except aeronautic and aviation engineering. Actually, despite the salary cut last year in quite a few engineering fields, but in aeronautic and aviation engineering, there was a salary increase about 8%. That means, okay, Hong Kong, the local market still needs the people from aerospace. Aside from Hong Kong, the Hong Kong government actually also launched a new scheme called the Greater Bay Area Youth Employment Scheme. According to this scheme, the minimum salary for the Hong Kong, for the young people in Hong Kong to get job in Greater area is about 18,000 Hong Kong dollars. That's the minimum salary, meaning that as long as you can find jobs in Greater area, the minimum salary will be 18,000 Hong Kong dollars. Okay. Now, according to the news from the government, okay, so in April this year, 2021, 2,000 jobs have been offered through the Greater Bay Area Youth Employment Schemes. Out of these 2,000 jobs, okay, 1,000 jobs are for innovation and technology posts. Okay, so meaning that you as long as you get a degree from engineering related fields, you can easily find jobs out of the scheme. Okay, now actually the scheme is very popular. On average, 3 applicants for 1 job openings. Okay, actually, so now the GDP of the Greater area city is about $1.7 trillion US dollars for the time being, and which expect to keep growing in the years to come. Meaning that, okay, so we have a bright future. I mean, the young people will have a bright future to find high-paid jobs, not only in Hong Kong, but also in the cities close to Hong Kong, within the Greater Bay Area. Now, the aerospace engineering program offered by CityU is very different from the aerospace engineering program offered by other universities in Hong Kong. We have 2-stream curriculum structure, meaning that once they join us, okay, once they get registered in this program, they can choose one of the streams to focus on. They can choose to focus on materials, aerospace materials. So they can focus on how to manufacture aerospace vehicles, aerospace, this is aircrafts, okay? They can also choose aerospace systems to focus on. In this case, they can focus on design of this flight control system, the design of electronic power systems, and how to design the sensors, how to make sure that the communication system can work well for aircrafts, for vehicles, and even for electrical cars. Okay. Now, in general, aerospace engineering is a platform. Unlike some mechanical engineering, unlike some chemical engineering, okay, this is a very focused areas. Aerospace not, it's a multidisciplinary engineering program, meaning that it's integration of several programs together within the program. It's application-oriented program. So in general, the aerospace engineering involves several important fields. Okay, some of the fields like fluid mechanics, flight control, propulsion, thermodynamics, structural solid mechanics. Okay, so they are the typical areas in mechanical engineering, but it also involves AI, artificial intelligence, smart manufacturing. That's also part of mechanical engineering and a part of system engineering. It also involves energy and systems, because once you design the aircrafts, you have to design the system that provides energy to that aircraft, right? So in this case, the students have to study energy and systems. That's a multidisciplinary area between the School of Energy and Environment. That's the school in CityU. We're going to work with SEE people to offer the courses related to the energy systems. When it comes to the communication systems, the design communication systems, the analysis communication system, we're going to work with the EE people, the W people, okay, to offer the courses. And also, undoubtedly, when it comes to the manufacturing aircraft, you have to understand the materials, right? Metals, polymers, and also ceramics. Okay, so that's the area we're going to work with the material science engineering people. Okay, so in general, you can see that aerospace engineering is a platform for integrated education. So I will show some examples of of the labs, and also so what a student can do after the finished studying aerospace. When it comes to aerospace, first the aerodynamic design of aircraft and vehicles. Okay, we're gonna develop, the facilities, also the labs for students to study. This is the water tunnel. Okay, we're gonna develop. Okay, this is the wind tunnel can develop. So when students enter this program, they will study how can they design the shape of aircrafts or vehicles such that they can minimize the frictions coming from the air or even coming from the water, the same thing. Okay, so that's related to the aerodynamic design, aircraft and vehicles. Okay, that's part of the course we're going to offer students. In the meantime, we know that currently we're quite familiar with the UAVs, right? UAVs simply UAVs simply acronyms of unmanned aerial vehicles, right? Now people can easily fly these UAVs, but how to design UAVs? Can we just improve the design UAVs? Okay, that's the area belonging to the aerospace engineering. Okay, so we have hired people with expertise in UAVs. So when students get into the programs, you have opportunities to improve the design of current UAVs to make better ones. Okay, so that's also important. Design. Design of new spacecrafts, that's the more advanced topics. Okay, so now when it comes to spacecrafts, definitely we don't design spacecraft ourselves. I think it's the mainland China's government, they have invested quite a lot of resources to design of spacecrafts. We don't do the design of spacecrafts. We don't fly this, this is a spacecraft to outer space, but we can design part of that. We can design the control systems or the anti-vibrating systems. So people can put our design into the aircrafts. Okay, so this is also part of what we are doing, research we're doing, and one of the faculty members in our department, they have dedicated to the research is the micro vibration control systems. So once the people can complete design, this kind of design useful for spacecrafts, but also useful for other applications. Like in Hong Kong, we have a lot of this is construction industries, right? Now, when the construction workers, okay, work on sites, they need some vibration control to make sure they can minimize the impact. When they drill a hole into the ground, they're gonna be vibration, right, coming out. We can use the same design to minimize the vibrations. So that design will be very useful for the construction industries in Hong Kong. So aerospace, not just not focus on spacecrafts, airplanes, electric cars. Okay, the technology we learned can also apply to other fields as well. Now, aerospace needs energies. So we can now, these days, we can develop different kinds of energy sources or devices that can connect or harvest energies from the surrounding, from environment. So this is one of the designs I want to share with you. This is called the tribal electromagnetic energy generators. Okay, so simply if you scratch on the surface, you can generate electricity, and you can harness this electricity and to power this is aircrafts, electric cars. This is also part of the projects our faculty members in aerospace engineering are working on. Now, the current project I want to share with you is about the fault detection and health monitoring for aerospace structures. Okay, so now we know that this is aerospace engineering or aviation engineering is quite sensitive to the safety issues, right? So I think passengers must make sure that it's safe to take flight. So every time when the airplane just landed, okay, so the safety people in airport will make sure that so there's no cracking occurring within the structures. So how can people detect the cracks? So that's related to the fault detection and the health monitoring of aerospace structures. Okay, so this is also part of the programs, okay, which we are going to cover. Okay, so with the course we designed. Okay, now the same technology can be applied to the airplanes, can also apply to other vehicles, little cars, the bridges, the buildings, high-rise buildings. Okay, so just you can see that how useful this technology will be for in general for the engineering for different engineering fields. Okay, so with the technology we learned, we use the sensors to detections and to do the health monitoring, and we can also design the robots with knowledge we learned, with the know-how we learned from the aerospace engineering, to design the robots for underwater sensing and monitoring. Okay, now I'm going to show you. This is one. This is a octopus. This is a tadpole. This is a small this is creatures we're familiar with, right? So now in CityU, and the faculty members also design the robots. That's the photo robots designed by the CityU faculty members. We just hired. Okay, he's one of the faculty members for aerospace engineering. Okay, so we can design these robots and put the robots into the sea, into the the other places. Okay, so now these robots just will behave similar as a tadpole or octopus. Okay, so now all this technology people learn actually comes from aerospace engineering. Okay, that's the part of design of robots designed by us, by people in CityU. Okay, so that's the design robots. But when you design robots, you want to make it, right? How can you make these robots? How can you make the structures? Now in CityU for aerospace engineering, we offer courses related to the 3D printing. Okay, so we'll develop a 3D printing laboratory for students to do the labs. So with the 3D printing technologies developed in CityU, the students should be able to print the structures using different kinds of materials, including polymers, ceramics, and even metals. Okay, we're going to invest quite a lot of money in the in the development of the 3D printing facilities in CityU. Okay, so that's quite unique. Now, this is the printing the structures. When it comes to development, but you have to choose the materials, right? So what kind of material you're going to choose to do 3D printing? So we do. So that's why we offer courses related to the material selections, right? So students must understand how to select the right materials to print. So in aerospace engineering, alloys are very important kind of materials, right? We have high temperature alloys to make the engines, okay, aircraft engines. You can use lightweight alloys to make the outside structures like the fuselage, part of fuselage of the airplanes. Okay, it's also also included in the training of students. Okay, aside from metals, we also focus on the composites. Okay, so today when people design the airplanes, they use composites quite often. So we have faculty members to focus on this. They are being dedicated to research on composite. So one of the courses designed by us will be the composite designs. Okay, so after study the courses, the students will be able to know what's the principles in the design composite. They can also make composites by themselves. Okay, so we just hired one young faculty member from the US, from University of I think in Michigan. Okay, so his focus, his dedication is on composite. Okay, so he will teach one of the courses. Okay, so he will teach students how to make composites, how to test composites. Okay, so that's very useful. So when it comes to safety and risk, it's quite critical. Today, when we take a flight, we make sure that the flight is safe. So in this case, it involves a lot of use of data, right? So when airplanes in the sky, they keep communicating with the stations on the ground. So there's exchange of data between the airplane and the stations, the airports, right? So people need to process data to the big data analysis, okay? So now this situation is quite similar to the fluctuations you could see in the stock market, right? You can definitely see fluctuation in the price of stocks. And they are common because they all involve data analysis. So that's why in US and also in UK, a lot of graduates from aerospace engineering get hired by financial engineering, by financial sectors to do the data analysis, to do the data monitoring, data modeling. Because in general, aerospace engineering is a mathematical intensive program. It's very useful, not for engineering, for classical engineering, but also for financial engineering. That's very important. Okay, to draw attention to this. Okay, so with this, I will just briefly talk about this. What are we what is we're going to offer, and what students will study after take the aerospace engineering program. Okay. So in the following, if you have any questions, we'll answer your questions. Okay. Okay. Are there any questions from the parents or students? Okay, so I'd be happy to answer your questions. Okay. Okay, so now if you don't have any questions, okay, so it's fine. Okay, so now if you have any questions, you can also send me email. Okay, my email address. Okay, so I think if you go to the let me share with you about my contact address. Okay, you can contact me afterwards if you have any questions. Okay, so okay. Requirements. Okay, so general requirement for aerospace engineering the same as mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering. Okay, so I think this is, we just simply list the general requirements on the website. Okay, so I will share with you. Okay, just wait a minute. Okay. Okay, if you go to the website of CDU, the the Mechanical Engineering Department website. Okay, so you go to the program. We have 3 programs. This is the aerospace engineering program. Okay, so this is listed. This is a basic description of the major objectives, the career prospects, and also the entrance requirements. I think that's the concern of most parents, right? What's the basic requirement for this aerospace engineering? Okay, so that's from website you can definitely see clearly what's the requirement we have. Okay, if you want to get registered in this program. Okay, okay, that's the curriculum. This is a curriculum structure for aerospace engineering. Okay, and when it comes to professional recognition, and this core program is going to be accredited by Hong Kong IE. Okay, and by the way, this is the government-funded program, so there is some, this is tuition fees will be the same as other tuition fees for other programs. Okay, okay. Space Deep Inc. Space. Yeah, when it comes to internships, in general, yes, we offer internships to the students from MEE to electrical engineering, and also offer internships to students from the aerospace engineering. But in general, we believe that we're going to work with we're contacting the HACO and also the several aerospace industries in Hong Kong. So yes, we do have internships, and yes, yes, definitely, and now because we are still in progress, and we'll work with the HACO, and one of the internships should be in Hong Kong. And we expect that we can have internship opportunities in Hong Kong and also in other places as well, like in UK and also maybe in mainland China. Okay, so because in general, Hong Kong, people do not manufacture the airplanes, right? But now in Greater Bay Area and also in mainland China, they have factories to manufacture the airplanes. Okay, and the UK they have the manufacturers. Okay, so we're still in contact with this is different university institutions to make connections. We really have connections with people out there, but we have to sign MOUs at university level to make sure that when students get into the program, they have opportunities, okay, so internship opportunities not only in Hong Kong, but in other places as well. When it comes to Hong Kong space, oh yeah, Hong Kong U, we know Hong Kong U, they offer this is space science program, but not for bachelor program. It's a master program. It's called space science. It's not an engineering program. It focuses on the, this is big data science, big data. This is focused on the the science aspect, not the engineering aspect. But the CDU more focuses on the engineering aspect. So we can do design. We do the design of aircraft. We do the design. We do the manufacturing of aerospace structures. So this is I think that's really critical, it's very important. That's the hardcore, this engineering for aerospace. Okay. Yeah, thank you for the question. Okay, so I would like to answer the question about the difference between the program in CDU and the program in the UST. UST's program is very different from us. Okay, so as I said, we have two streams. If you just go to the website in HUST just one general aerospace engineering program. But if you compare the courses, okay, we offered and the course offered by UHUST, you can see there's a huge difference there. We have two streams. The curriculum structure of this program in CDU is very close to the curriculum structure at Bristol University, Bristol. Because I said, okay, so when we develop the programs, work with the people in UK, with professor in UK, we also have some connections with the professor in Bristol. That's why we have similar kind of the programs. We have two streams, material streams and system stream. But UST does not have this kind of stream-based structures. Okay, so the curriculum structure is different. The courses offered are very different. We have some common courses, fundamentals, but we offer more courses, just more than just fundamentals. We offer more, as I said, hardcore engineering courses to teach students how to do the design, to teach students how to do the manufacturing of structures. The study load is we have 120 credit units. Okay, that's the I think this is a basic requirements, and the maximum one is 144 credit units. So in terms of study load, I will be quite similar to the mechanical engineering. Okay. So maximum credit units is 120. Oh, sorry, maximum is 144, but the one student complete, as I recall, 120 something, they can graduate. Okay. So any other questions? Okay. Oh, okay. No problem. Okay. So anyway, so if you have any questions, okay, so you can send me email, drop me email. Okay. So you can say, okay, Professor Yang, okay, I'm very interested in the program, but I still have a few questions. Okay. So remaining there. So if you have any questions, okay, so don't hesitate to send me emails. Okay. So I'll be happy to address your concerns, and we'll make sure that the students graduating from the program can have a bright future and get high-paid jobs. Okay, that's the motivation for us to launch the program in CDU. Okay, and I believe we offer opportunities and also alternatives, right, compared to the programs offered by UST, by PolyU. I think that's the third aerospace program, very different from the program offered by our sister universities, UST and the PolyU. Okay, so if no further questions, okay, so I thank you for your attendance. This is a virtual session, okay? And I look forward to meeting you and also your kids, okay, so in future on campus of CDU, okay? So thank you, okay? So bye-bye.